Good afternoon, all, and welcome to a special edition of the Sal Greco Show. And I'm your host, Sal Greco. This is specifically for Election Day, which is tomorrow. There's been a lot of early voting in New York City. There's a lot to get into, especially with this race, because this encompasses District 45, and that's a district in Brooklyn, one that I know all too well. But you know me, I'm a Republican, so the Republican candidate that's for this district, he's been on the network a few times, but this is the final stretch, and I want him to lay it all out because there's a lot of misinformation out there about a lot of things, going on as far as all the races between the mayor's race. You're hearing there's all kinds of dirty tricks going on. So without any further ado, I'd like to bring on the Republican candidate for District 45, Elijah Diaz. How are you, Elijah? How's everything?
Sal, everything is great. It's great to be here. I'm super excited for you. I'm super excited for Election Day tomorrow. Let's get it rocking.
That's right, because the polls open, I believe, at 9 a.m. So for everyone who hasn't voted yet, make sure you go out there. And just for everybody, for everyone's knowledge, see that right there, that little green circle, or, it's not a circle, but that is the entire district that Elijah is looking to represent. We have Farrell Lewis, who's been there for 6 years. She is the city councilwoman right now. She's a Democrat. For 6 years, of course, there's been a lot of problems in that district, and nothing gets addressed because that's the way it works in New York City under progressive leadership. So just before we get into all the nitty-gritty stuff, Elijah, tell everybody who you are, why you ran, and what's been going on in that district prior to you running, and what's the real reason that you wanted to run for the district.
Yeah, Elijah Diaz, 23-year-old candidate for District 45 on the Republican and conservative lines. It's been a humbling experience, and really I got into it, without a thought about the title. Really, it was mainly an instinct. I've seen the consequences of corrupt politics, and in this district, we have dirty streets, we have high crime, we got small businesses closing down. So it was mainly being the change that I wish to see, and really going out there and making a strong message out there for the people.
I like what I'm hearing. You know why? Someone of your age running for office, having the courage to do this, is not easy because
Not easy.
How many people have attacked you? You've probably been slandered all over the place. And, that's part of the nature of the business. But at 23, you got to have a lot of, we'll say cojones to even attempt to do this, especially in a district like yours, because what is the percentage Democrat to Republican in your district? Obviously, you have a Democrat there. It's probably been a Democrat forever in this district. So what is the percentage of voters there, as far as you know, from Democrat and Republican?
Yeah, we're about 14-1. The 14 Democrats for every one Republican. So as far as active voting is concerned, I mean, listen, we can have anywhere from 3,000 to 6,000 that actively vote on the Republican side, 24,000 about on the Democrat side. So we've got an uphill battle, but I'm ready for it.
Yeah, this is definitely, those numbers are pretty big, but of course the voter turnout has been big. Marty in the comments did say, Sal, I believe the polls open at 6 a.m. You said 9 a.m.
Sorry. 6 a.m. Yeah.
It's 6 a.m. They close, I believe, at 9 p.m. That's what I got. So you have a 6 a.m., folks. If you didn't vote early, make sure you go and vote tomorrow, especially in this district. So, so as we go along here with your campaign, Elijah, you've run an upbeat campaign. You're like the first Republican even show a face, let alone you're energetic. You got charisma. You've got stamina. You got energy. You're 23 years old, and you're basically, barnstorming the whole district. So why don't you tell us a little bit about that? You've been campaigning. Obviously, what we hear. Certain people like Curtis, we have no chance. Republicans have no shot here, but what say you to that? Because what I see with you and Curtis is completely different than what the polls and social media influencers and the media in general, mainstream, tell you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, I would say, again, ask the district. A Republican, for the very first time, Republican conservative in District 45 is fully matched. What does that tell you? What does that tell you, Sal?
That's never happened before. That tells me
That's
there's a lot
history.
of there's a lot of voters that may not be getting polled, they may not be getting asked questions, but they usually vote with their money. So when they're
Hmm.
donating, those people are going to vote, especially if you're getting the contributions inside your own district.
Yep.
These aren't Zoran Mamdani straw donors slash foreign contributions from God knows where. So you're getting enough donations to be the first ever Republican and get matching funds in that district, which means there's a lot of people behind you, the
Yeah.
silent majority. So, and of course, Curtis, you've also been campaigning with.
Yes.
And as you know, they keep saying, these polls, this, that, it's over. He's got no shot. Cuomo, even though Cuomo did all this damage, he's the guy that lit the match. He poured the gasoline and lit the match on the destruction of the state and the city. But now these people running around saying, oh, you got these, call them Republicans in name only,
Mm.
saying, oh, you got to vote for Cuomo, and not the leading, not even the candidate for mayor, which is Republican, which is Curtis, which is, I stress this out. It's very important to know. Curtis carries the entire Republican ticket. Voter turnout will be huge.
Mm.
Whether or not he comes close, he wins, the margins that you'll see in these other races, like Elijah's race, are going to be very important. And just to point this out, this is an early voting. 735,000 people already voted early, which crushed 4 years ago, and almost at the rate of the presidential election, which was just last year. Brooklyn, which is where Elijah's running, remember, District 45, 243,000, almost 244,000 people already voted. That's in Brooklyn alone, which I believe is the second largest borough by terrain, we'll say, in out of the 5. But Brooklyn seems to have, and it has the most voters. They're trouncing the Bronx and Staten Island. This is going to be very important to remember now as we move forward Elijah's race. So you've been out there. You've seen the people sitting in the polls. You're campaigning every day. What are the people telling you in regards to these races, whether it be the mayor's race, your race, other races going on in Brooklyn? Because the Republicans, they might be able to flip a few seats at the very least if, allegedly the mayor has no chance. Curtis has no chance.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's pretty much what I've been hearing. I mean, people are trusting the polls. Unfortunately, I don't know why. I try to explain that the polls are never your friend, just like lawyers. Lawyers are pretty much never your friend. So when you go out and you talk to people who are really embedded, all of their knowledge comes from CNN, from Fox News, from wherever it's coming from, MSNBC, and they're trying to paint a narrative that someone who's not an establishment type candidate, and I believe that Curtis is not an establishment type candidate. He's really out there for the people. It's not politics as usual with Curtis. It's not politics as usual with me. So I would say to those people, you can't trust the polls. Really dig deep and look into your candidates, because we are your public servants. You're not supposed to be serving us. We're supposed to be serving you. So it's a privilege and an honor to be able to hold that office. So don't trust the polls. Don't trust the polls at all. I believe Curtis Lewa has a very, very good chance of taking this election.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think it's going to be a lot closer than people think. Also, right now you're on pace for about 2 million people probably voting, because last time around it was only 1.1 million. You have 750,000 already that voted. So you're on pace to get over 2 million votes. There's going to be probably a record turnout, probably the likes you haven't seen in decades, right? At least you're going back to maybe the 80s or 70s. So this, polling only shows you 300 to 400 likely voters, which, again, I don't even know what that term means. It must be the same thing as saying uncompensated security, because you can't verify who is a registered voter, what party they're registered. Just take the guy's word for it, because you got to spend a lot of money to get these things. And I'm looking at this poly market thing, which, if you've been watching on Unfiltered, we've actually exposed that this is all foreign money.
Mhm.
Basically, it's foreign, a lot of influence from other countries here. And as you notice now, Andrew Cuomo, he's sitting at 5%,
Mhm.
6%. Curtis has never been past 1 or 2. And at one point, Eric Adams was up there, 20 something percent. And if you look at this prior, you see how the race is. This was at a point when Eric Adams was at 20 something percent. And look how low everybody else was. This thing
Mhm.
varies by who's betting. And on top of it, it showed Mamdani at a certain point only having 1 or 2%. And
Mhm.
right before his own primary, all of a sudden that started to even up. But for days on days on days, they were taking bets. And you probably made some money there in crypto that he was way behind, but he came forward. So
Mhm.
to your point, these polls, these suppression thing, to me, it's like a suppression poll because nothing is verified. To get it verified, your campaign, you will know this, you have to spend a lot of money to get these internal polls to get, because you have to verify who the voter is. So
Mhm.
if I get a likely voter poll, I can do the same thing. I go in the corner. Hey, you, what's your name? Okay, write it down. What do you vote? What are your voter registration? What are you? You say
Mhm.
whatever. I write down your male or female, whatever, and then we go by the questions. Now, I'm not spending money to go to extra level. Extra level is you need to know, verify that even a registered voter. Then you got to verify the information,
Mhm.
social security, stuff like that, to find them, to make sure that they are a registered voter indeed, and that they are whatever, they're Republican, Democrat. So they're not doing that, folks. These are all snap polls. They want this out basically to suppress the votes.
Mhm.
I've tried to explain this a few times. I don't know. Some people, as you know, Elijah, a lot of people low information. They literally just
Yeah.
like you started. You said CNN,
Yeah.
NBC, and all this stuff. So I just want to get this stuff out of the way. So now going into your district, right?
Yeah.
The last 6 years. I mean, you lived there. I mean, I believe Farrell Lewis lives in Flatlands, which is part of the district.
Mhm.
What has it been like on the Farrell Lewis as a sitting city councilwoman for this district? And what exactly has she done for the district, if anything at all?
I personally didn't even know who Farrah Lewis was until I jumped in the race. That's that's personal for me. I didn't know who she was, and I would say, and I'm going to be fair here. About 90% of people who I've spoken to in this campaign, they're like, "Oh, who is in there again? Is it that black lady? I don't know. I don't know her name." That's really the true testimonials that we've been getting. So nobody knows who Farrah Lewis is, and listen, I think she should be thanking me after this because honestly, I made her more known than she is in this district. It's honestly depressing to know that we have a public servant that is an elected official that people simply don't know who they are. And it's a testament to the work that we've done. It's a testament to the work that we've done, Sal, because even so, living in this district, it it has its ups and downs. Every area across New York, they always go through ups and downs. Kind of aligning with the direction of the city. But this district is struggling, man. It's struggling with affordability. It's a cleanliness crisis. It's a super small business crisis. There's so many things that's going wrong with this district, and I'm not just saying that because I want to win an election. I'm saying that because I actually live in this district,
That's right. And that's
and
the
I have my
key.
whole life.
That's the key. You represent the district because you were born and raised there.
Yep,
I
my
don't
whole
know if
life.
Farrell Lewis actually was born or raised. I know she lives there now, but the district is not looking too good. Here's something important to look at. This is the 70th precinct, which is one of the precincts you will be representing in this
Hmm.
district. Okay, look at that number. This is 2 years, which is 2 years under Farrell Lewis as your city councilwoman, who's, I don't know, has anyone ever seen her do anything with the commanding officer there? Who knows? Because those crime numbers, 60% rapes are up
Hmm.
in the last 2 years.
Hmm.
60%. If you're a female walking around, you got to be ultra terrified walking
Yeah,
around this district for the last couple of years.
yeah.
Then you got robbery, up 22%. You have felonious assaults, up 36%.
Hmm.
You have GLA, grand larceny auto, 20%. That's up probably all over the city. And then, of course, the burglaries and the grand larcenies aren't as bad as, getting raped or beat up or getting robbed. So overall, 11, almost 12%. It's 11.75 percentage of crime. That's violent crime. The 7 majors up in that 7-0 precinct. So clearly, public safety doesn't seem to be, on the top of the list for Farrell Lewis of how do I fix this, my district. So what do you say to that, and what would you do to try to change those numbers that are, if you're a woman walking around, I mean, I would not feel safe with that kind of number. Rapes up 60%. That is scary, actually.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a twofold answer. First, we have to increase NYPD recruiting and local recruiting. That's a priority for me. I know that a lot of the NYPD that's coming in and currently patrolling our city, they're coming from Nassau, they're coming from Suffolk, and we appreciate that long commute. Pulling a 12 to a 24, that's not easy, especially in New York City. But local recruitment is going to be a big factor in actually making our neighborhood safer, because now you're going to see a kid from the block that wants to be a police officer, but he's disincentivized by what people are telling him, the defund the police movement, which also Farrah Lewis indirectly supports as well. So it's going to be a matter of increasing NYPD recruitment locally. And on the flip side of it, we also need to understand why people are committing crimes. There's a mental health crisis. People have no sense of purpose in the city. People have no life ambitions. And it's because they've been simply neglected by every single other elected official that's walked in this district. We had Jumaane Williams. Now we have Farrah Lewis. It has to change. And if you believe that voting Democrat down the line and just praying and hoping that one of them is going to be good, I'd say take a look into a brand new candidate, first-time Republican, District 45, Joshua Elijah Diaz.
Yeah, I think I could see it. You're energetic. You have the stamina here. I think you would be a much better representative, we'll say, than Farrell Lewis, who, with those crimes, I'd be terrified to even live in that area. I'd say, what are you doing? And here's another thing, just people remind people, city council sets up the real legislation that goes on in the city. Kind of like, the state has the assembly and the Senate there. City council can change laws, pass them, not pass them. Farrell Lewis, do you know any piece of legislation that she is for, other than, she obviously she's critical of the police department, but what has she passed anything of any substance in this district to either A, help it, or B, has she brought anything forward for New York City in general, other than voting probably, yes to all the progressive ideas and crazy legislation that's in New York City?
Yeah, I think you already hit the nail on the head. It's always going to be it's going to be an identity crisis with Farrah Lewis. She floats the line saying that she's moderate, she's pro-police, she's the best friend of the police when she goes to the community board meetings, but then when she comes to City Hall, it's all far, far left policies. And it even reflected with her endorsements. First, she was with Andrew Cuomo. Andrew Cuomo is the guy that's going to save the day. He's going to save the city. Now she's all through and through Zohran Mamdani. So it really shows the flip-flop, and that's pretty much the identity of Farrah Lewis in District 45. It's just a flip-flop.
So she first was for Andrew Cuomo, and the minute the $25 million that he poured into this race blew up in his face, he got crushed by Mamdani. Not only in a crowded primary, in ranked choice voting one-on-one, he was utterly destroyed, and he has no shot to win. I keep reiterating that, with his unfavorability just as high as Donald Trump's is as president of New York City. She then flips to Mamdani. And there it is. She did endorse Zohran Mamdani just a couple of weeks ago. So she just goes wherever the wind blows, whatever's quicker to jump behind and hey, look at me, I'm a front runner, because that's essentially she did. So she's for these, which tells you that whatever Mamdani wants to pass, whether it be the grocery store thing, which again, they already have them, the free bus rides, which there are free bus rides for the criminals because they beat up the bus drivers and the patrons in there. And then when they get arrested, they're let right back out because of,
Hmm.
thanks to Andrew Cuomo's legislation that he passed as the governor. So she's just for all of that. So she's just a continuation of Zohran Mamdani's, policies or non-policy. Because again,
Hmm.
he doesn't tell you whether he's for or against certain things. City of yes, I don't know. I'll get back to you. Affordability. Yeah. But how are you going to implement this? I don't know. I'll get back to you. So all of these crazy ideas, she's for.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is wild. I haven't. The last time I was in that district was a couple of years ago.
Hmm.
7-0, and I remember being there because before she was a sitting councilwoman. I remember when Sandy happened, Hurricane Sandy. I was actually in the 7-0. It was a 6-0 was flooded.
Hmm.
It was a different time though. That was 2013. So, I mean, this is wild. I can't believe you're saying, But so, what are you seeing, boots on the ground? Because you were telling me before we got on about the electorate. You said that there's a lot of we'll say Bangladesh community, Pakistani community, and
Hmm.
Mamdani would appeal to them, but that's not exactly what you're seeing and what they're telling you.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, listen, even you go across the district, it's kind of like a different stronghold for each different candidate. I'm proud to say that we've had a diverse support system. We have Cuomo supporters, Sliwa supporters, and even Mamdani supporters. So it's really a matter of people are looking into politics now. It was a culture shock with Mamdani. People didn't expect it. It came out of left field. And now it incentivized people to start looking, and they discovered, wow, we have Elijah Diaz here that's a first-time Republican. What the hell is he doing here? I don't think it's going to reflect the mayor numbers this year. It's an unorthodox campaign, and I think there's going to be unorthodox results. It's going to be split, but we have a solid base. I'm super grateful for that, and we're going to continue working.
Yeah, I mean, I would expect that. It's just like so. When you go out there and you're knocking on doors,
Hmm.
you're getting people that say, "Yeah, I'm going to vote for you," or they want to hear your ideas. But these are not obviously the district's not full of Republicans, but clearly
No.
you are converting independents and Democrats, correct?
Yep. Absolutely.
So that should be an important note because, like we're trying to tell you, Curtis Sliwa does the same thing. And if
Hmm.
Curtis Sliwa carries voters, the same voters will vote down ticket in your
Yeah.
district, which you have campaigned with Curtis. So
Hmm.
to that point, you've been with Curtis. He's been in your district. What is it like to be with Curtis? What do you see with the voters? Because we're told he has no chance. Remember, that's what they keep
Hmm.
saying. That
Yeah.
apparently now he's there's a video because he was with a bunch of politicians, and I guess Mamdani was there when they were out defending. I believe it was in March of this year. They were basically protesting against Cuomo's policy that basically killed a ton of people in nursing homes, and they were trying to say that both of them were working together when there was a bunch of different politicians. There wasn't just Curtis. It's all the politicians against that. So
Hmm.
they're trying to spin this as in this is like I said, it's dirty tricks. But
Yeah.
you were there with Curtis. Can you explain what it's like to campaign with Curtis and how voters are with him versus the what you hear in the media that says, "Oh no, he's got no chance." His former colleagues saying he has no chance, and I think they want to run for mayor themselves, even though that'd be hysterical. What can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, the thing I love about Curtis Sliwa is that when I'm with him, it doesn't feel like I'm with a politician. It doesn't feel like I'm with a Republican. It feels like I'm with just Uncle Curtis. Like that's kind of the funny joke. It really is. Curtis is you feel the history. You feel the history. You recognize and you respect that. Curtis has dedicated his life to New York, and even so, it's hit my generation. We understand the history and the impact that he's had on our city, and that's one thing that's a personal sentiment to me because I'm kind of like that standoffish with the establishment kind of person, and Curtis Lee is not really that guy. He really truly is with the people, and I respect everything he does. I respect the way he's been going about campaigning. He's really sticking to himself and sticking to the people rather than getting involved in, all these political left and right, arguments that are basically propagating the people, propagating New York, propagating the polls. Curtis stands strong, and we stand strong with Curtis.
Yeah, I actually see a good question here. Somebody asked, Chicken Wing says, does candidate Diaz take public transit?
Yes. Yes, I do.
You do. So what do you see in transit in your district versus the perception of crime is down and the soccer mom Tish is doing a great job and Eric Adams is the public safety mayor? Is that what's the perception in the reality, or is the reality what we all have seen on video that the subways is clearly not safe?
Yeah, sometimes I feel like I'm Batman in Gotham. It feels like Arkham Asylum when he goes sometimes into the train cars, and I feel bad for the people, especially women who are on the train cars alone. Wherever they're coming from or going to, it's an unsafe situation. You see homeless all over the place. You have those street performers that come in, but now you're seeing them more on a mental health aspect, where it's like, okay, these guys are not just dancing, for money. They're dancing because they're high on crack or meth, whatever it is. It's truly a sad case, and some of them are just mentally ill. It's not a safe system right now. We got to do a better job, and it's been neglected for too damn long.
Yeah, we used to have that in the NYPD was the homeless outreach, which had their own social workers there. But of course, we would come as police officers and try to aid these people, ask them if they need any help, and that's when the social worker would come, and that's kind of what is being forgotten here because they're trying to make it so there's a public safety unit, some ridiculous thing. Mamdani is rehashing
Yeah,
a program that failed in the 90s. It'll
yeah,
fail. It's just not going to work. And somehow he's bamboozling people. Actually, oh, that's a good idea. No, it failed. It's going to fail again. It failed in the 90s. And here you need homeless outreach was disbanded by his comrade, Bill de Blasio, when he was mayor.
hmm
He also disbanded. Well, he also took away Mounted from being out in the street to protest. When there's
hmm
protesters, Mounted would be the first line during a riot or a protest because when a horse goes up on his 2 feet, and protesters, the rioters see that they start running for the hills. And you never put a hand. You don't do anything to anyone, so you can't get sued for anything. So
hmm
these are the things that De Blasio took away that have never been we'll say, re-implemented. And of course, because Eric Adams is just an extension of who Mamdani is, they're all socialists and corporatists, and they'll sell anyone down the river for $1.
Yeah.
So it's the same thing here. And so what you're saying again, public. So Farrell Lewis, has anyone seen her in the public transit? Anyone see her in the subways at all, or she's just getting a nice ride by some private security or something?
Not even a single poster, Sal. This is the first year that she doesn't put an honorary flyer up for election week. She can't come in this area because Diaz posters all through and through.
So she's got no posters. Nobody has seen her.
Nope.
Nobody. Now, what are the local businesses? Has she done anything for any local business there? And I'm talking mom and pop. And I'm talking about Amazon, all these big companies. Mom and pop who have been destroyed in this city in the last since Bill de Blasio was the mayor. What are you hearing from them, and what do you see with that?
Again, people didn't know who she was. That was that was pretty much the bread and butter of my early campaign, going to small businesses, talking to them. Business is a passion for me, so I always love hearing different perspectives, especially as, a young man growing in the business scene prior to entering politics. So I spoke to them, and they don't know who she is either. So obviously you can't do anything, but I feel like the Democratic playbook sometimes in this situation is you just throw money at the problem and hope it goes away. Uh, I haven't heard anybody personally that she's even given money to, but it's neglect. It's neglect, Sal.
So essentially, your entire district has been neglected.
Yes.
Nobody has seen Farrell Lewis.
Oh, not the entire. She has a small pocket where she keeps the votes. She keeps that one little base intact, and the rest forget about it.
Would that be Flatlands where she lives?
It could be flatlands, it could be parts of East Flatbush. It's kind of scattered, but they all kind of fit the same profile. It's just you stay silent. You get your money and shut up.
I see. So, but nobody ever sees her really out there. You
No,
don't see
no,
her campaigning. She
no,
thinks it's a walkover. Basically,
no.
she thinks you're a walkover. That's basically how she's even campaigning. She's
Yeah.
not.
No, she feels that she owns everybody's vote. I feel like she maybe even thinks she owns my vote at this point. It's the ego that's insane. So you come out and you're an established political machine and you refuse to debate. You refuse to campaign. You refuse to hear out the people that you've neglected for 6 years. I don't know. I don't know how to say it any different. I
So wait,
don't.
she didn't even have a debate with you. She just hit.
No, she refused. Both of my opponents refused to debate me. I've requested it 3, 4 times in her territory. I said, Listen, you set up the time, you set up the date. I've reached out to the NAACP. I've reached out to various groups. I've reached out to the office directly. I've reached out on social media, making call to actions. Debate me, debate me, debate me. You have all of the leverage, home field advantage, 99%. And I'm coming into your territory and challenging you because I want to hold you accountable as someone who is a constituent at this moment. And she refuses.
That's unbelievable. You at least would have one debate, at least just to debate issues and policies, and her
Yep.
track record, which seems to be atrocious, and nobody even sees her. You got support in the comments. Lone Silencer says, "I like Mr. Diaz's energy. The kind of change politics as a whole needs."
Thank you.
I agree because, like I said, someone of your age to do this, and look, you're running up against guys that, I mean, she's, I believe Farrah Lewis is quite a little bit older than you. I'm not mistaken. She's in at least the 30s, right?
I know better than to speak on a woman's age, so I'm not going to say anything there.
I wouldn't think she's in her 20s. I don't even know if she ever would have ran in her 20s. Yeah, Jeff Smith says, is a good one. Probably the best place to see Miss Lewis would be in the hair salon. If that is true, if that's what she does, that's not she needs to get her priorities straight because the district is not happy with her. And,
Yeah.
you need to, be out there for your constituents. Otherwise, you run the risk of losing your seat. So, and so what do the people tell you? What are they upset about what she's doing, and what are you going to do that's going to be different than what she's doing? Because she's clearly upset all the businesses. So there's got to be something right there.
Yeah, the majority is the silence. People feel they can't reach her. There's no accountability for anything that goes on. What they do specifically down in Flatbush is they kind of gang up together. You don't see all the politicians unless they're together. So it's pretty much you hide behind that wall and you feel safety from that. I mean, maybe she does her job here and there, show up to a community board meeting here once in a while. But it's really for show. Again, 90% of constituents are telling me that there's a dereliction of her service to the city.
Yeah, this is. I figured it'd be that'd be the issue. The problem is you're not getting, like I said, like they doing the same coverage with Curtis, where they say Curtis has no chance, and meanwhile, you look at what's going on in the street, it does not equate to what they're saying. And I think you might be having the same problem here because if you're saying that 90% of the constituents are saying they don't like what she's doing, how does she always win? So I'm guessing in every race that she's run for 6 years, she usually just trounces people, right? Right?
Yeah, pretty much.
Look at this. She said this proposal is smart, forward thinking, executive, progressive leadership. We need to move our city forward. Hashtag Cuomo for mayor. Hashtag living wage. But now she's not for Andrew Cuomo. Look at this. Minimum wage. She wanted to support the plan to raise the minimum wage to $20. But now she's against that, right? Because now she's from Mamdani, who doesn't think that's $20. So what's the issue there? I mean, this woman, you can't trust her.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, the issue there again is whatever's popular is going to go, and it's not popular amongst the people. It's popular amongst people who are involved in special interests. That's why our city is so shot at this point. I mean, the people who are not struggling at all are the ones that are dictating it for the smaller guy. So I'd even argue that we already are living in a form of socialism, and Mamdani's not the beginning, but probably the peak of that agenda. So it even started with Eric Adams, the city of yes. So it doesn't take much to see through that.
There's two good questions here by Chicken Wing. First one is they said, are there plans to open up more heroin clinics and shelters in your district? Is
That's
that
actually a question.
yeah?
No, no,
Okay. Are there enough food pantries and cooling centers in District 45?
no. There's not.
And are the libraries fully funded in District 45?
That I would have to get back to you on.
Interesting. If they're not fully funded, then I wonder what this woman's doing as the city councilwoman. These are supposed to be important things,
Hmm. Yeah, and I have a plan for the libraries as well. That's going to be a huge part of creating a new generation of leadership in New York.
This one too. She actually asked another good question. Is there an adequate after-school program for school-aged kids?
Define adequate.
What does she have in there? Does she have anything at all? Does
I,
does,
I,
does Farrah Lewis have any plan in regards to, or has she ever implemented anything for for school-aged kids for after school?
I mean, she might have said it to herself, but none of the people on my side have ever heard it. So maybe she said it in a closed room meeting or some kind of back room. I don't know where it's coming from, but I haven't heard anything, and I'm in the streets every day.
Oh my God! So she has no plan for education. What about
Mhm.
affordability? You told me, how is the housing market in your district, or is it a lack thereof?
No, there's a lot of development. I'm glad you brought up that point, actually. There's a lot of developments going up. And you see a rundown building that's fully garbaged up to the door right next to a brand new facility costing 3,500 and up. I mean, we're talking about working class families here in District 45. It's very residential, but it's also a struggling demographic that's been struggling for years. So affordability is one of their number one issues. And again, it's a slap in the face because people are struggling for $1,000, $1,200 rent, and now you're gonna put a new building 3,500, 4,000, gentrify the hell out of it. But meanwhile, you're supposed to be an advocate for small businesses, for affordable housing. She banks on the fact that people are uneducated on these types of things, and I'm exposing exactly that. Win or lose, the point was to send that clear message that the people are not going to be ignorant for too much longer because I'm here now and I'm inspiring them to take on that level of education.
Yeah, that's the key. I mean, they can't rent. I mean, essentially, the city of yes wants you to be renters only. You never have a chance to buy anything
Hmm.
because that's what essentially is what's going on with that. So she's not addressing this at all,
Hmm.
and people need places to live. And this is an important issue, especially for the entire city. I know affordability. Mamdani has this pipe dream that'll never happen, and essentially, he's for the city of yes. He just won't tell you that, but that's what's going to
Hmm.
happen. So he's just another real estate billionaire, mayor. That's how
Yeah.
you get elected mayor anyway. But
Hmm.
as far as what's in your district, you got to protect what you have there, which is why they elect you because someone's got to stop legislation or anything in regards to affordability if that's going to go against what the community wants. Because they're
Hmm.
looking to sell it. They're looking to sell out the neighborhood. That's essentially what's going to happen. She'd be
Yeah.
someone that would be on that same trajectory because it's a progressive wing of the party that's doing this. It's not
Hmm.
Republicans.
Hmm.
You know, I got another question here. Special Hagen, shout out to. She says, besides increasing police presence, what are his plans to address the gang violence? What is he going to do to address the proliferation of guns in the community? That is a good one because you represent also the 7-0, the 6-7, the 6-3,
Hmm.
and the 6-9, which is quite a bit of gun violence there. It's kind of been on the rise under Eric Adams and Bill de Blasio. So, what do
Hmm.
you say to that questions?
We need to restore a sense of purpose for these young men. It's mainly, I would say, ages 14 to 21 that's creating the majority of the gangs and the majority of the crimes. It's a culture. It's a cultural problem. It's not a problem to where, oh, it's the gang per se. It's really the background of it, that these young men have nothing better to do. They're working minimum wage jobs. They can't afford anything, and they're currently trapped in a culture where, you know, black on black violence is romanticized, and it's an unfortunate part. Nobody wants to talk about it. Our elected officials don't want to talk about it. The OGs are getting locked up doing a 10-20 year bid, and they're not here to properly teach these kids that, hey, listen, you don't need to do this. This was an old school problem where you needed to protect your area, but now we're going on the offense. I'm saying from a gang perspective, we're going on the offense instead of, protecting people. And now you're trying to attack people. So that's a big problem of it. And even if I can be an advocate, I've gone to the projects. I've gone to East 21st and Newkirk, and if you know this area, that's a heavy spot for a lot of gang violence. I go down all the way down to Foster, towards the 50s. Gang violence over there, gang presence over there. I'm not intimidated by that. So it's addressing the problem head on and creating a sense of purpose for these young men.
It's a good thing you mentioned that, because PB actually said here, why does nobody want to address the cultural and social drivers of the gun violence? Easy to badmouth cops, but not point the finger in the cultural mirror.
Hmm.
That's
Absolutely.
yeah, actually.
Absolutely. And as someone who comes from that same culture in my environment, listen, we need to address the issue. People aren't running away from the issue. It's just not politically correct to talk about it. But when you actually do talk about it, you see that these are actually good kids. These are actually good-hearted people that are stuck in a circumstance that politicians would never be able to get them out of.
Which is why the after-school programs would be something important. Of course, doesn't look like Farrah Lewis ever had an after-school program. If she did, it was very minuscule and just vanished as quick as it came, because
Hmm.
that's what progressives do. They tell you something you want to hear, and then they actually don't deliver, but you
Hmm.
keep voting for them somehow. It's like the low information bubble you just never get out of.
Yeah.
Here's a good question again from Chicken Wing. Are there plans to install more bike lanes in District 45?
Oh no. Don't get me started on the bike lanes. They're
Yeah.
going up everywhere. They're going up everywhere. The daylighting is insane. If you don't know what daylighting is, it's the plan from Antonio Reynoso to cut 350,000 parking spots in Brooklyn. Oh man, I can barely find parking right now. God damn it, Reynoso. Give me a break. Give me a break. I can't find parking for 2 hours, and God forbid I double park at a hydrant for 5 seconds. I'm getting a $65 ticket.
Now,
Let's address this. Stop the double parking, redraw the lines. Let's do something. Let's stop punishing the drivers.
I think you got a point. Man. Some people are not happy about all the bike lanes, and they will be in your district, because going down Flatbush Avenue, there are bike lanes, especially because you got to go over the Manhattan Bridge or the Brooklyn Bridge too, which is
Sal,
all.
I'm not trying to get pissed off right now, Sal. I'm not trying to get pissed off right now, but these bike lanes, they gotta go. They gotta go.
Somebody also asked, does District 45 include Kings Plaza? Yes, that's the 63rd precinct. That is Kings Plaza is in your district. Which
It's not. No, it's not. It's not in
oh,
the
it's
district. That's 46.
okay, so that's next door. So you split in half on the 6-3,
Yeah.
because the Kings Plaza on the other at the other end of the 6-3,
Yeah.
because that does have a lot of issues going. It's been like that
Yeah.
forever. Young kids are there.
Yeah.
Let's see. Lone Silence is that Farrah should channel Whitney Houston and answer constituents with the truth and say, "I have nothing, nothing, nothing." That's essentially what Elijah's telling you here. That's what she's been doing for years. He's born and raised in this district. That for
Yeah.
6 years you're dealing with an empty suit, essentially.
Mhm.
You know,
Yep.
that's what a lot of these people do. A special agent says, "Are you going to work with the Drop Your Flag movement? OGs are working with youngsters to leave the gangs. Are you willing to increase resources?"
Absolutely.
There you go. There's your answer. PB says, "I salute his courage," meaning yours, Elijah, for having a conversation. Well done, young man.
Thank you. Thank you, PB. God bless you.
That's that. You see, I think you have. I think people are going to be surprised, if not shocked, tomorrow
Hmm.
with your race in particular. So, like, what do you say to people? What do you want to? What were you looking to accomplish here? What do you want to do for this district? Look at it as right now. What would you do? If, let's say you stun the world tomorrow. You win. What
Hmm.
is Councilman Elijah Diaz going to do on his first, let's say, first 90 days as councilman?
The first 90 days is going to be very meticulous in righting the wrongs of the previous council person. People are struggling. We can't build if we don't address the problem in the first place. You can't heal if you don't put a band-aid on first. You understand what I'm saying?
Mhm.
So it's going to be finding out where the root cause of the problems. And I don't care about statistics. I'm not one that believes in the polls, the statistics, the data per se. I care about when I talk to somebody and I see the pain in their face for the struggles that they've got. And I see that because they can tell me whatever they want, but the eyes don't lie, Sal. The eyes don't lie. So addressing the root of the problem, and after that, after the 90 days, it's going to be increasing the quality of life services, and that's everything. That includes every single thing: small business support, cleaner streets, housing affordability, the whole nine, education. Those are the big platforms because at the end of the day, when I'm done with my term, I want people to say they are living better than they were on day one.
Yeah, especially since I think each term is 2 years. Every 2 years, you got to run for re-election again. You're only allowed to do it 4 times. If I'm not mistaken, it's 8 years total.
Yeah,
Yeah, so it's
it's the
every two.
four. It's the four. They changed it back to the 4-year term, I
They,
think.
they, oh, they
Yeah,
changed it back to 4-year term.
yeah, yeah. They stole a couple years during COVID, but they changed it.
Oh yeah, I remember. Oh, who could forget those years?
Yeah, those were the best years of my life, to be honest. Those were the best.
there was a lot going on there. So now, uh, have you been to any houses of worship? Because I know the playbook with these people. You're seeing Cuomo do it. You saw
Mm,
Eric do it. You run to the churches. You fearmonger. You hope to get some low information. People hooked in and they believe in you and they start, oh, I'm going to vote for this guy. When Cuomo has not had any religious community. This guy was a Catholic and, he was like, didn't want anyone to get married. He
mm,
crushed the Jewish community when he was the
mm.
governor. He did not want anyone going and getting married. He was basically running and hiding and having like makeshift synagogues. They couldn't go to shul. Yet I'm hearing these people want to vote for this guy.
Yeah.
He literally destroyed this community, and now he's the better choice of the lesser of two evils. What they're the same evil. It's just
Mm,
one coin. Flip it either way. It's the same thing. It's heads and tails is the same here.
yeah.
I don't understand the logic with that. But have you reached out to anybody, in the religious circles? As I'm sure Farrell Lewis probably has the same playbook like Eric Adams, and he goes to these churches and he would have the bagmen and bagwomen in the back, and he was collecting a lot of money that we don't know whatever happened to, but that was the strategy. And I don't know if she's doing that, but I'm going to guess it's a playbook over there. Especially I just
Yeah.
saw Cuomo do it.
Yeah. Yeah, I've been to religious institutions mainly to learn what the problems are facing each religious group, and that was pretty much it. I'm not going to pander to the religious community. I believe that the true people who believe in their religion are going to understand wholeheartedly where I'm coming from in my actions, because I do believe in God. I'm a very spiritual person. I wouldn't be here if I wasn't. And so I believe in letting my actions really speak for me instead of pandering and, shaking hands with a pastor, taking a picture with a rabbi, dapping up an imam. I don't believe in that kind of stuff because the real the real the real word in the pudding is my actions.
So what you're saying is you're going to be a man of action with your words don't matter as much as your actions.
Yes.
Your actions are grounded in your beliefs and
Hmm.
what's in the best interest of the people. So if you have to go to the synagogue or the mosque or the church, you are there for the people. but you're not going to pander and say, "Oh, I really need you. Let me come and do a special sermon with you people." It's
Yeah.
different. You push this off on someone versus you being invited.
Yeah.
That's the difference.
Yeah.
It's better.
Absolutely.
It's better.
Absolutely. And I don't like when people are fake holy. It just it ruins it. At this point, it doesn't even ruin anybody else. It ruins yourself.
Now,
So
if
again,
you being invited, you're probably the first Republican
yep.
for anything there because it's only been one party forever.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I don't remember any Republican candidate telling them to come to the church there on Flatbush when
Yeah.
it's been one party rule forever there.
Yeah.
I can't remember the last Republican running for anything in this area because I've never seen it. It's always
Mm-hmm.
been one party, and they usually run unopposed or there's another line they run on, the Working Family, which was where Cuomo was running off. By the way, Working Family. I'm not, just a Republican in this race is unheard of. That's
Mm-hmm.
all I'm. I know this for a fact.
Yeah.
So for them to even reach out to you and want you to, that means you've been catching steam. You're
Mm-hmm.
catching a lot of eyes. Win, lose, or draw, I think you have a future. Whether
Thank
it's
you,
you're going to be
Thank
in
you.
an office or, even if you fall a little short because, everything going on,
Mm-hmm.
but she's going to be term limited next time around if
Yep.
it works that way.
Mm-hmm.
So then it'll be another crapshoot.
Yeah.
Well, hopefully the district says we're tired of this stuff. This woman has done nothing for us. And the last person that was there, Jumaane Williams, his campaign, if you don't know, has a bunch of straw donors. I mean, he's got the same problems that Eric Adams had, that Mamdani has. Yet they elected him all these times, city council first, and now the public advocate. He's going to
Mm-hmm.
probably win the public advocate hands down tomorrow. But in reality, he's a mess where one investigation would have so many questions about where he's getting his money from, which is influence.
Mm-hmm.
That's the other thing. You don't seem like one who's going to be influenced. I think all your donations are from their small contributions or, the working man's contributions from people that live in your district. This isn't special interest giving you money or a corporation that then
Mm-hmm.
funnels
Yep.
it through 20 different people like we've seen in the last couple of years, people getting indicted like Eric Adams for it.
Mm-hmm.
That's not happening with you.
No, not at all.
You're a man of the people.
Absolutely. From day one and all the way to the last day.
And this is what I'm hoping people will see here. So I guess as we close this out, Elijah, give your final pitch to the voters. Tell them why they should vote for you. And, anything else you want to say, especially since I don't think people, the polls, but, I wouldn't put so much faith into something when there's going to be a record turnout of voters tomorrow.
Yeah, there's a bunch of reasons why people should vote for me, but the day before election day, I'm gonna let my district speak for me. Again, like I said earlier, we have a diverse group, whether it's religious groups, whether it's ethnic groups, political parties. We have all the diversity because this is really a campaign driven by the people, and we're surging for that exact reason. So I'm gonna let the district speak for me on that one. You can find all of my campaign materials at Diaz for Brooklyn on social media. I was on X, Instagram, Facebook, and make the determination for yourself. I'm not gonna sit here and say, "Oh, vote for me because I'm the greatest guy ever. I'm the end all be all." I don't believe that at all. I believe that I'm truly a patriot of this country. I love the United States of America. I love my city, and most importantly, I love Brooklyn. So that's all I've got to say, Sal.
I'm from Brooklyn, but I'm from Bensonhurst. I grew up in Brooklyn. Later on, I moved to Dyker Heights. Brooklyn is always going to have a special place. Obviously, every generation, things change every 5-10 years, but I think you embody the same spirit that, I embodied, 40 years ago when I was born. I was your age. At that time, I lived in Dyker Heights, and you embody the same thing you're trying to do 20 years into your life. You're trying to make a difference with the neighborhood. I think this is like a historic moment because I don't think that I don't think this ever happened as a Republican running in that neighborhood this way, and it might start to move things around. Because, by the way, what kind of support have you had from the GOP in general? Just we get this clear. Have you? I know they back. I mean, obviously you won the nomination, but have you seen? Has the party, have they held any fundraisers for you? Have they done anything for you?
No, Sal, they haven't. It's unfortunate to say. I'm not going to go dig deep into the GOP today, but yeah, you can look. It's all public information. The GOP didn't do much for me.
So the GOP essentially in New York City, which is quasi run by John Catsimatidis, who runs WABC radio. Oh, Elijah, have you been on WABC radio at all? I mean, they're a big Republican conservative outlet, allegedly.
No, I haven't.
So you weren't on the #1 rated show, which I don't even know about that. #1 rated show in the morning, or Dominic Carter, or any of those. Craig Kelly.
No, I wasn't on any GOP media, and I wasn't endorsed by the New York Young Republicans Club. I mean, that turned out to be a good thing in the end. But yeah, I mean, pretty much no help from the GOP. It's been grassroots all the way through, and honestly, I wouldn't have it any other way reflecting back now.
So you're just a man of the people.
Absolutely. These are the people that are going to get me elected. The GOP is not going to get me elected.
The GOP is a disgrace. I can't believe what I'm hearing. It's like they really play to lose. John Katz likes to lose. And then don't worry, if Mamdani somehow wins tomorrow, I can guarantee you on a certain radio show, he's going to come out and say, well, he's going to be I know he's a commie. He's going to be my commie. I'm going to have him on my show. I'm the #1 rated guy. And then at the end of it, he'll say, there's my guy, my good friend, the Zoman. And then he'll be, WABC will become the Zoran Mamdani station.
Yeah. Well, Sal, I'll add one more point to that, because I feel like if we start from a negative, and assuming that is the way it goes, I would say give it a shot, because too often we get too involved in political banter, and we'd want opponents of Curtis Lewa to give him the same respect. So being in this political game, it's not easy. I want to make sure that I'm promoting an image of respect through and through. So at the end of the day, whether it's Mamdani, whether it's Cuomo, whether it's Lewa, we need to maintain that respect and create a political culture of respect going forward.
I agree with you. I only have one problem is people's integrity. And once you lose your integrity, you lose everything,
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I don't think it's right that, people say that you're your friend and then they turn on you for a couple of bucks, or because their boss tells them to do, or maybe they just never were there. They're just the phony to begin with. It means they're a fugazi. And I have a problem with that, because you want people that are going to be there no matter what for you, because you're representing the people, which is what you're doing, is you're being honest with people. This was a completely dishonest thing. And the fact that it's the same thing I'm hearing over and over again. Where's the GOP trying to help you? Well, clearly you've done something that no one else has been able to do in this district, yet nobody's there for you. It's almost as an, we want to lose so that we could cry about it on John Catsimatidis' radio station, and then you buy ads.
Yeah. I don't believe in the words. I don't believe in the words, Sal. I believe in the actions, and the actions are speaking for themselves right now. I don't even need to say anything. You hit the nail on the head.
Yeah. Listen, I'm all in on you. I really pray tomorrow there's a huge voter turnout, and you can somehow rip this away from this councilwoman that seems disinterested with the district. I think you have a hell of a future, no matter what happens tomorrow. And it'll be people like you that's going to lead through, we'll say, the dark ages here, as far as young conservatives, young Republicans go. And, I really wish for the best tomorrow. Like I said, I endorse you. I want you to win, and I think you can. And if anything, tomorrow, is there anywhere anybody could meet up with you, or are you going to be anywhere where you're going to have a party somewhere? Or is there anything?
I'm gonna be everywhere, Sal, and to be honest with you, I'm gonna be celebrating with my people, wherever they may be. I'm gonna be out there. I'm gonna be grinding. Tomorrow is the biggest day of the campaign. Everything you've seen before has absolutely nothing to do with tomorrow, because I'm going to be everywhere and people are going to see it. People are going to relate. And afterwards, we're going to celebrate together, because win or lose, we sent a clear message to the machine this time that we're not silent anymore.
I just hope it's win, because I think if this
God
was
willing.
a just world, you would win. But of course, it's very hard to do when
Yeah, it's New York.
not helping you. Just saying, that's very disheartening to hear. But
Yeah.
to end on a good note, where can people follow you? Because obviously you'll be all over the place tomorrow. All your social media handles and the campaign website.
Yeah, DiazForCityCouncil.com and at Diaz4 FOR Brooklyn on social media.
There you go, guys. And I would follow him. I have been, and that's how I know what's going on with the campaign. This is a grassroots campaign. This is a man of the people. I would vote for him if I were you in the 45th district, but I don't live there. But
Yeah.
I think Elijah will bring change. I think this is a fresh look on things, especially in the GOP at New York City. And don't give up because you think everything is a blue. It's a blue district, it's Democrat, because out of those ashes, out of everything being destroyed, rises someone like Elijah. So, Elijah, thank you for coming on.
Thank you, Sal.
Praying for you tomorrow. I really hope that this goes your way. But either way, I think you have a very bright future. And no matter what happens, you keep your foot on that gas pedal, because the right people are noticing you, even if they aren't GOP, billionaire leaders,
Yeah, will do, Sal. You have my word. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Elijah. And I'll thank you all for tuning in to this special edition of the Sal Greco Show. Don't forget tomorrow to go vote. I will see you all tomorrow at 1:05 p.m. For the Sal Greco Show. We're going to have plenty of material about the election in general, what's going on tomorrow. From tonight to tomorrow will be something else. But please, if you can, go and vote if you're in District 45 for Elijah Diaz, who's a special guy who might be on the great things if the people actually get behind him, and the GOP, wherever they are, whoever runs this party, because I don't know, it's really disgusting what I'm hearing, because that's a guy that should be your councilman, not Farrell Lewis, who's nowhere to be found. So with that being said, I'll see you all tomorrow. God bless. Don't forget to go vote. 6 a.m. tomorrow, the polls open. 9 p.m. they close if you're in New York City. Elijah Diaz for District 45 and Curtis Lewa for mayor. That's the one guy that can still salvage this city. And it's not over until the final vote is cast. So I will see you all tomorrow. I'm signing off from South Florida, which is a place, as you know, it's a sunny place for shady people.